Hi, everyone. So I would start tonight. I thought I would start different than normal. So I was on I was on a bunch of interviews today uh, on Mexican radio stations. That's funny. I just thought of a joke there. But yes, I was on a Mexican radio, a couple, and a couple of magazines, and it was a lot of fun. And this question kept coming up about what's my favorite song? What's my favorite song? And I was thinking about this, and usually my favorite song is whatever I'm working on. So I'm going to show you some stuff that I've been working on today, or we're going to start with that. But anyway, I wanted to break it down so that you would understand what you're seeing, because obviously I can't show you. It's hard to show you everything I'm doing here, but I'm going to try to explain. So here we have a dumb, simple. Well, it's not so dumb. I actually quite like this sound, but it's coming from the ESQ1. It's very simple. We were talking about minimalism. So what I was doing with this particular track is I was trying to, um, not that you're going to be able to tell, but what I was doing to it was basically I was going to take that sound and try to make the biggest sound that I could make out of just that sound with a bunch of processes running. So that tiny sound, which, one more time, sounds like this. Very simple. Got transformed into this. So you can hear there's a lot of stuff going on. That's not sampling. It's just strange processes. So the idea was, can I take basically 4 or 5 instruments, do this to them, affect them, and then write a song with it? And I did after a dream I had. So I've been playing around with this song for a while. So what I thought I'd do is just play you the updated version, and then we'll go into the request thing. So it starts with something that's, for me, like a favorite or something new or a demo, whatever. And then we'll open up the phone lines and let you guys call in and ask me questions. We can discuss any topic that's on your mind. And you can request whatever you want from whatever album you want. And if I've got it, I'll play it. And but anyway, so this song is called Newly Found Times. I'm going to pop in this screen so you can see the tracks moving. But again, remember that there's a lot of processes taking place on almost everything. And there are, I'm going to count the tracks. One for the pads, a bass, 2 drums, another bass sound, a weird synth, and a bunch of vocals. And that's it. That's all that's going on. Let's see what happens when you unleash this thing. Newly found time.
went down to solve this mystery. Gave me pause. I'm confused by the discovery of a world in between. Raging, it's raging, my heart, it is raging. Thoughts in my head of a future I'm facing. It's all on tape. 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 Atmospheres run by machines, pump in the shadows of the air we once breathed. I saw on tape how the ocean had once been blue. Newly found time, lost in the images. Wish it wasn't so. How so low. It's racing, my heart, it is racing in these thoughts of the future I'm facing. It's all on tape. It's all on tape. It's all on tape. It's all on tape. It's all on tape.
So I was like trying to explain to one of the interviewers today that you can do a lot with a very little and just mess things up, and that was kind of like the vibe. But as you can see, quite complex stuff is still going on even after it's over. Kind of cool. Anyway, but that's the song I've been working on. It'll probably wind up somewhere. You'll see soon enough. But yeah, as Alfonso said, it is a bit more on the it's all on tape or MP. Carlos, that's funny. Is it all on tape or MP3? Tape. No MP3s. No. Not here. Tape. There's something about tape I still love. Jen says, I have no idea how you can multitask so much. You mean like what? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm not taking on enough or working hard enough. which is my own demon. Demons, demons, out. I'm kidding. I'm in a wild mood today because of those interview things. Oh, thank you, Robert. Art, music streams. Yeah, and trying to figure out cameras and God knows what else I get my mind into. I was painting this morning too. But no, I had a lot of fun today. Well, not all of it was fun. Some of it was um very emotional on the phone with some friends that had some trouble, and of course I'm not going to talk about their troubles, but I was trying to do my best to help them out. Some family stuff going on that's a little bit on the tough side. But my day started off with the craziest Zoom call ever. I thought it was going to be a Zoom call of one interview, but as it turned out, it was a Zoom call with links to all the Zoom calls that I was going to take for that day for the city of Mexico. And they were all interviews with different radio stations and magazines. And man, I hope I did a good job. I will post these as they make them live. Each one was about 15 to 20 minutes. And I think I ended up going way over that anyway because we wound up, I don't know. I started at 10 o'clock. I left the computer at 2, maybe 3. So yeah, it was a lot. Um, and the Zoom of Zooms, yes, as Constantinos on Facebook says. Pretty crazy, but yeah, I have a show coming up in Mexico City with Information Society, which is really cool, and I am looking forward to. I'm very excited about this show actually because the first time, and I believe the last time that we were in Mexico City was in 1991. I want to say it was 91. So although we've played Mexico, it's been a long time since we've played Mexico City. So for me, that's pretty crazy. I've been to Mexico City since then for more leisurely trips, but not definitely not to play. So I am, you know, uh, going to have a lot of fun on this gig, um, trying to formulate a set. But yeah, no. So it's been a bit of a ride. But anyway, hold on. Let me fix this thing. Guess I can exit out of that. So, by the way, the song you heard, the first song I played was called Newly Found Times. And I have no idea where it's going yet. Um, but since I like its feel, for lack of a better word, I want to explore that a little more and let's see if maybe other things come out that go with it. And then that'll be its own thing. Um, but it's been a slightly go industrial, Jason says. I've done that before. We've you'll see on the album there's a couple of moments. Um, so it can happen. Although, industrial is a funny term for me because of the lyrical content, I suppose, would not, it would be more towards dark wave, I suppose. But ah, Polaroid remix as the B-side, Stephen Olaf says. We might have to play that tonight, Stephen, since you're on the stream. That might be cool. See if I can find that. But so I'm going to open up calls in a little bit. The number that I gave last week is not the same one for this week. I have to change them up. So don't call the old number, it won't work. I have a new one. And so there's a couple of topics I want to bring up, and one of them is security issues. And no, it's not a sponsored video. I'm not going to try to sell you anything or anything of the sort. But it relates to interesting developments that I've seen in the scammer circuit. because I follow that stuff because I want to know, like, what new threats are happening. I used to follow that quite a bit, actually. So, anyway, so David Garcia on YouTube says, "You're going to come with Information Society." Yeah, that's right. That's right. And by the way, that's an interesting thing too. I haven't played with INSOC since the 90s either, which should be quite interesting. So, but anyway, I digress. I hope if you're just joining us, that you're grabbing your wine or your tea or whatever it is you're going to drink tonight, and join in the conversation. We're going to talk about anything you like. You can call in, ask me questions, and I'll play some tracks that people request in the process. I've got two in the queue already that people are asking for. This might take a second. Hold on. If a song plays, I'm sorry. It's not supposed to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't. That's funny. None of that was supposed to happen, I'm afraid. Um, but so as the song, oh wow, Jen says Diet Orange Crush and raspberry vodka. Yeah, that'll work. Although for me, that would probably like make me feel really dumb and probably act accordingly. Um, Constantino says it would be cool if you also did a gig with Thomas Dolby. I know him personally. That's cool. I met him and I did do a gig with him. I did one of those lost 80s things back in 2021, which was pretty cool. I actually loved watching Thomas play. It was pretty awesome. I got to meet him, but I only talked to him for like 10 seconds, enough to shake hands and say hi, basically. But it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Um, all right. So I'm going to put on the screen so you can see the number and you can call it. But, oh, that's right, the disclaimer and the security stuff. All right. So, number one, I am not going to be on the chats asking for emails. If someone goes there and says that they're me asking you for email information or your phone number, your email, it's not me, it's a scammer. I won't ask for that information. All right. Number one. Two, when you call, you have to say your name clearly because I have to vet the call before it comes through. Due to security concerns. That's the word from the management. Security concerns. So, you can remember, you can call in, we can chat. Meanwhile, before I, get into that and I do the calls, I'm going to play a song that has been requested because someone requested something earlier and I feel like that's not a bad idea to start with. So let's see. Where is it is the good question here. So I'm going to like load up some songs while you're like sitting there going like, what's he doing? But that's because it gets easier if I can grab them first and not have to worry about it later. So gotta forgive me for this. Man, what am I doing? Well, that's not what I wanted. Bear with me here. Yeah, that's good. We'll grab that one too, and we'll grab this one because I know someone's going to request that sooner or later. It happens. All right, so I'm going to play a song, then we'll come back. I'll talk more about security issues, but it's because I picked a few topics for tonight, but there was something that I got in an email that I think is worth talking about. So you got to watch out for scammers. Then I'm going to talk about some crypto stuff that I've come across that's really interesting in my world, and pretty much anything else you want to talk about while we listen to music. Anyway, we're going to start this off with one that doesn't usually get requested. So every time I see a song that doesn't get requested often, that's the one I'm going to play. So I'm going to start off with this song. Let's turn on the overhead. Ooh, and clean.
Everyone is fine.
Whoops. I did it again. I forgot to put the volume back up when it was done, but ooh, your robot's making the book as a pull-out or as a pull-out page? You mean like one of those 3D things? Nah, I don't know that I could do that at this point in time. But Jacob says, "Where's my mom at?" That's funny, Jacob. Um, I'm sure she'll pop in. But ooh, Vic20 says, "I was just nerding out listening to demos, writing sessions from New Order's Low Life Definitive Edition that came out today. I will have to check that out. I love listening to those things." Did you get anything really well, you'll have to track you should call Greg. That's an interesting one to bring up. Um aw, that's a good one. I might play that. I see what people are. Oh boy. Definitely. So, all right, so let's take the first caller. So I'm going to flash the number on the screen. And you guys can quickly grab it, and then I'll take the first caller and we'll do it. Ready, set, go. And it should ring my phone, and I should be able to pick it up right off the bat. Let's see if it works. So one of you can call me right now and talk to me, and we'll chat. We will look into whatever it is you want to look into and all that good stuff. God, I feel like a radio station dude at the moment by saying this stuff. Just be caller 25. And there we are.
Call from.
Dan.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Ooh, that was good. Dan, you are on the air.
Awesome.
How are you?
I am great now that I'm talking to you.
Ooh.
So real quick, I'm going to flash back to I met you briefly at the Monaco show at the Wiltern Theater.
Oh, wow. I remember that. Yeah, that's when IMX opened, right?
I don't remember who the opening act was. It was Monaco's first album
Yes.
at the Wiltern
Yeah,
Theater.
it was at the
and
Wiltern
you
Theater.
Electrodelica hadn't come out yet, but I
Wow.
had already signed up to get the limited edition with the interview CD thing that you guys were releasing. And
Awesome.
Conscious had just, I believe that was the first single that came out.
Cool.
And so I remember running into you, and I just said, "Hey," because you had a little group of friends that you were with, so I felt like, anytime I run into somebody that I appreciate musically, I always try to leave them alone. I'm not trying to geek out or anything. So I just quickly said to you, "Hey, by the way, got the single, loved it, and thought that it was kind of Beatle-esque in an alternative way."
Awesome.
And you smiled like you just did right now.
Right?
Anyways, so because that's, to this day, that's my favorite album.
Oh, thank you.
I thought that was kind of like, it was Anything Box, like changing a little bit and trying to do something a little different. So anyways, and I can geek out with your stuff all day long because I've been a fan since the beginning. And even when you guys tried your Orange Works, before when you guys put out your first album on Orange Works, there was a phone number on the back, and I remember calling up the number asking about, "Hey, you guys had put out a single way back in the day, and it was from Conscious, which had never gotten released." And whoever answered the phone was super polite and was like, "Yeah, no, sorry, we don't have any control over that." And then a couple months later, you guys are playing, I think, at the Copacetic Cafe or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The Copacetic
so
Cafe. That's
so I was able to purchase the CD there.
That's so rad.
because you guys, yeah. And then fast forward, because I saw you guys probably like 8 or 9 times during that time frame through Electrodelica and all that stuff. And there was a show that you guys played by Cal State Fullerton. I remember the power went out.
It always does. I
It
know
was the
what show you're talking about.
First concert I ever been to, power went out, and Paul picked up the acoustic guitar, and you started singing a cappella.
And we lit a candle. I remember that. Yeah, we lit a candle. That was oh my gosh, that was Steve. If you're on if I know Steve's there somewhere in the chat, help. But yeah, that was one of the first internet cafes. And yeah, we played there, and then they lost the power. And it was funny because we managed to find I don't know who brought it or who had it, but there was a candle. We lit a candle. Paul played guitar, and we wound up doing an acoustic set. Wound up being really cool. The Blackout Show, Global Village. Yeah. We actually call that the Blackout Show.
Yeah, you improvised and killed it, because the only bands that I had at that point, you were the second after Andy Bell from Erasure, watching him do a cappella on the Innocence tour. And it reminded me of that. Like,
awesome. Trivia. Anyways, I got trivia for you. So
I know
that Global Village place, it was an internet cafe, and we made friends with the owner, and it was really cool. When they went out of business, they used to have these really cool decorations. Like, it was just this weird cyberpunk thing that they had going on. And when they went out of business, I went there, and he offered me any of those props that I wanted, and I wound up taking them. And they wound up on the 45 video. So all the weird tower things that you see, all that stuff we took from that venue when it closed. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
So what do you want to hear, Dan? Oops, sorry.
Well, before I had a question real quick.
Sure.
Being Latin American as well, one of the questions I always had, because as soon as I heard Adonde from C2 Javu,
good song.
I flipped out, because I was like, oh my God, there's like this type of music in my language, like my first language. And so I've always tried to find that stuff. So, Obeca from Spain, Santuario, Moenia.
Yeah.
So I always, because I know you did Carmen. So I was always curious, because I believe you're Argentinian background, correct?
Correct. I was born in Rosario. So yeah.
Rosario. Okay. Yeah. My stepfather's from Buenos Aires.
Right on, man. That's awesome.
So I was just curious, did you ever think of doing, because electropop has like a big influence in Latin America. So I was always curious if you ever thought of either trying to cover some of Anything Box material in Spanish, other than, something a little bit more dancey, or try to write, because I don't know how good your Spanish is. So
I would say,
for me, it's tough.
I would say my Spanish is pretty bad. I mean, look, I speak it, I can read it, I can write it, but singing in Spanish is a chore, because your brain has to go into a different mode. It's funny. You can't, you have to think in Spanish to sing in Spanish. And I don't think in Spanish. So, I know that sounds weird, but it's a real thing. You literally think in a different language, right? So I have to put myself in a certain mode. So I've done it. I've done it before. But it never, I was never satisfied. People liked when we tried it, but I was never satisfied. So all I can tell you is, spoiler alert, on the new album, there's a Spanish bit. That's all I'm going to say.
Awesome.
So there is.
Okay.
So
Well,
now you know.
Thanks. I appreciate that, because I get it, because I can't think in Spanish too, and I'm very literal in my translations.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes a chore.
It's an art. It's an art. Translating is an art, right? To get what was meant to be said to what was actually said.
Exactly. It was easier when my mom was alive, because then I could just run lyrics by her and say, how would you say this? And then I would tell her how I would say it. And she was like, "It sounds atrocious said that way. Don't do it." Because I would take the
Right.
simple view. It didn't work. But what do you want to
Yeah.
hear?
Okay.
It's your
Well,
call.
since I said that, let's go with Carmen and Castellano.
Ooh, good choice. Maybe. Do I have it? It's funny because I have the archive right in front of me, and it's funny how much is actually missing from the archive. I thought I had everything in there, but I guess not. We
Well,
will
if not, then
do.
I will default to Conscious, since that's
Well, that's
the
awesome of
song
you,
that I.
but I found it. Here it is. But this is called the Rosarino mix. So I'm going to play that one. So this is
Okay.
Carmen
Awesome.
El Rosarino mix. And
All right.
thank you for calling, Dan.
Hey, thanks so much, Claude. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
So no calls. We're going to listen to music. Here we go. Carmen El Rosarino mix.
Carmen, las voces lloran. Carmen, mi alma se va. Sus caricias, las estrellas ¿qué voy a hacer si no sentir esas noches junto a ti? Los recuerdos de mi gran amor. Carmen se fue, es difícil de entender. He perdido fe en la realidad. Ella sufría su vida en dolor, las sombras de su mundo lleno de ilusión. Ella se fue y nunca sin saber que no dejó de amarla.
Ha! Steve says, I smiled that the EP was called Future Past. Of course, another band I like had to call their last album Future Past, and as much as I love them, that Duran Duran album is not a favorite. Well, I can't comment on that. I thought it had moments, but yeah, they did rip my title. I had it first. Darn it, damn, damn them all to hell. No, I'm kidding. I'm in this weird mood. I'm telling you, I'm in a weird mood. So yeah, there's a funny version of Carmen. I just realized that we never released. Um, we put it out as a freebie for fans, but we never actually released it. And I don't think I have it in my archives, but I'll have to look for it because it's funny. It's called the Spanglish Mix, which is actually half Spanish, half English back and forth, and it's kind of funny. So that's a funny one. I will have to find that, dig it up, and then put it on something. I think I have just the EP to add it to on Bandcamp. I will. I'm gonna find that because that's worth having. It's just funny. I thought it would be funny, but then we didn't think it was good enough to put on the EP, so we left it off. But it was the Spanglish mix, Konglish. That's funny. Yeah, Steve and I listened to the latest. Somebody's calling. Let's see who it is.
Call from
Chris.
To accept, press 1. To send a
So we have a caller. Chris, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're on the air, man.
Well, thanks for doing this, man. This is great. It's extremely entertaining, and we're learning a lot about you and your music and your new stuff. So thanks a lot for doing this, man.
You're welcome. It's also extremely dangerous. It really is.
Well, not
with
me and your previous caller, Dan, who's my best buddy, actually.
Oh, awesome. So no, we're doing good so far. We haven't gotten any weirdness yet, and I don't want any. So stay away, weirdness.
Well, good. Yeah, your last caller, Dan, like I said, he's my best buddy, and he he was talking about the Electrodelica album, and he loved that album from the beginning. And I have to admit, I loved your first three albums so much that it took me a bit to get Electrodelica.
I totally understand.
Wanted to ask you what?
I totally understand. I've heard some other comment like that where it goes like this. It goes something like this, Chris. It goes, I loved your first three records, but I don't know what the hell you were thinking when you released that one. Usually something like that.
I'll tell you, I didn't know what I was thinking because it's one of my favorites now as well, and it's just amazing. And I guess my question that I always wanted to ask you about it was, what happened to give the shift to the more guitar based, as Dan said, Beatle-esque type music? What did something happen, or you just wanted to venture out musically?
Actually, someone asked me this question today on one of the Mexican interviews, and it's interesting because I didn't spend a lot of time examining it until, of course, I'm put on the spot, right? And someone asks me the question, and then I have to kind of think back, like, what was going on? But this is what it boils down to, because they asked me this question about techno. They were asking me if I was into, non lyrical techno / dance music, because that's basically where most dance music went, to the DJ side of things, right? So
right.
Let's go back. It's the 1990s. Music is taking a turn. Things are going into the grunge scene on the rock side. Indie rock is coming in. So you've got Stone Roses, you've got Radiohead coming up, Blur, all the pop coming out of the UK. But on the US side, we were in
Well,
rave.
let me ask you a quick question about that. So the Manchester type scene.
Exactly.
Did you like that music, and did that have an influence on you?
It did, but in a weird way. So for example, yeah. So in the States, it was all rave music, non-lyrical dance stuff, and that's where the electronic scene was going. And of course, being a singer, I didn't want to go into that, right? So we did our stint with the rave thing, probably with Hope, because Hope, has Answer Me and a bunch of other songs that kind of hint at the rave scene. But we didn't want to do a full on rave album where I'm not singing because that didn't work. And we had tried to do a few songs where, we were trying to write Hope Part 2 basically, and it didn't work. It just wasn't working. Like nothing that we did worked. And so I was very discouraged. And I went into a weird direction and I started listening to strange stuff. So I was listening to Doves, I was listening to early Radiohead, I was listening to Blur. And one of the things I liked in one of the Blur albums that were out at about that time was Girls and Boys, which, people should know that song. Um,
Yes.
and I liked how it was disco-y, and yet here's this guitar band doing it. And so I thought, well, why don't we go the opposite direction? Why don't we do electronic stuff where we occasionally bring in stuff from the rock world and bring it back in? Because I had done that with the Diary. So I was like, seems like a natural progression, right? So
Right.
we were experimenting. We took it out about as far as you could take it. And then, of course, I've reeled it back in now. And I'm, definitely in this weird little in between Hope and Electrodelica era, I think is where I really live. That's where I live. I don't know that I would go and do an album that's like full on post punk, and call it anything box. I don't think I would do that now, but I can see more things like Electrodelica, uh, I don't know if you were here from the beginning tonight, but I feel like the first song I played tonight was in that realm. It's not quite happy go lucky, but it's not quite a guitar thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to stay clear of it for now because I'm not that great of a guitar player, so I don't want to have to worry about guitar parts live. So I tend to avoid
You're
them.
talking about that first song that sounded kind of industrial, almost
Exactly.
like you were listening to Nine Inch Nails or something for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of stuff is more of the realm that I like to explore at the moment, but that's not that I'm not ruling out distortion and, weird distorted sounds because I like that stuff, but I don't want to be.
What do you think? What do you think of Nine Inch Nails, by the way?
I love Nine Inch Nails. In fact, here's a funny story. I can name drop, right?
Right.
So we had this EP that we were on, and there was an early demo of a song called Industrial Wasteland on it. And when email was new back then, it was like the early 90s, and email was a new thing, like everyone wasn't like emailing all the time. So I get this email and it's from Trent Reznor, and I'm like, yeah, right. And I was like, he's like, cool track on blah, blah, blah EP. And I'm like, that's nice. Are you really Trent Reznor? And he goes, yeah, why? But it was the deadpan way that he answered that I took it as like, oh shit, it really is him. And I couldn't answer back.
Wow, well, that's cool.
So he once paid me a compliment. Maybe one day I'll get to meet him and find out if that's true or not. But I don't think spammy emails weren't a thing then. I wish I'd kept all of those because I had a nice, just to go on a tangent, I actually had a really nice email back and forth with Robert Moog at one point, and also with Roger Lynn. I had a really nice conversation with Roger Lynn over email about MPCs, which I was a big MPC fan. So back then, email was very innocent, so you could almost reach out to anybody and they'd reach back. So that was kind of cool. So.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing all of that. And I'm going to dedicate this song to my buddy Dan and Amy, and we've been listening to music for years. We've spent a lot of money, good money, on your
Thank you.
art.
Oh, thank
and
you.
we will continue to do so, sir. Now, I said in one of my Facebook chat things that I thought that John Lennon would enjoy some of your music, especially when you start with the Electrodelica era. So I guess with that, I think he would like the most two songs. I know I can only pick one, but I'm going to throw out two. One is Doubt, because that obviously comes from Electrodelica, and then the other is An Ending, and I think he would particularly like that song.
Oh, Ending 2. That's what you mean, right? That's on there. I think,
right.
Yeah, it's funny. Ending 2 is a funny one. I think I'm gonna play
no,
both.
The song An Ending.
Oh, An Ending, because there's a song called Ending 2 that's on Electrodelica.
No, you're right. No, I'm talking about From Worth.
From Worth. I see. That's a good one. But I think I'm gonna go with your other one. I think I'm gonna play Doubt. It's that kind of an evening. This one's got the vibe of the whole 60s thing. This is the one that was like actually one of the first songs I wrote for that album, actually. And I thought, yeah, this is the right direction. Let's go weird. Let's be dancey, but let's get just weird. And so this was one of the weirdest songs on that album.
It just kills every time you hear it.
I need to do this live more, but anyway. All right, Chris.
Please do.
Yeah, I will. So thank you for calling. I'm going to
play. Care and come to St. Louis and play here, will you?
Oh, my God. I got to do it. I have to.
Or Memphis. Either place.
I have to. Thank you.
All right. You take care. Have a good night.
Good night. So that was Chris, and he asked for Doubt. And I actually quite like this one. I like playing this live, too. Doubt.
Sometimes I get so jaded and stare at the wall.
So that was doubt. And once again, thank you all of you for being here and enjoying this with me. I hope you're enjoying it. It's not. I hope it's not boring. I'm trying not to be boring, but so yeah, we're coming up on the hour, which is awesome. And so before I take calls, because I muted it so that we won't get calls in between, so I'm gonna say when. But so I wanted to tell you about an email I got since we were talking about emails. So I got this email that was from Coinbase, um, which was not from Coinbase. And usually when you see an email, you'll be able to look at who it's from and be able to parse basically that it's a fake email. So it's easy to tell a scammer from a normal person. But this was a legit email that appeared to be from Coinbase, signed. So meaning that it has clearance as though it was an email from Coinbase. And what I found interesting is that it had a link at the bottom, but it was actually a file. And so I examined the file without opening it, and it was in fact a zip file. So I know that that had to be some malicious code going on. So I did a little bit of a deep search on it, and I found that there's a type of attack that's been really prevalent in the last couple of weeks. And surprise, surprise, these are like offshoots of hacks that government agencies have used to grab control of someone's computer. Um, and these are like really deep state stuff. Like this is like crazy stuff, right? And let's see, I'm going to try to go back to my notes because I had it here. Okay, so if you look at, if you want to look up malware, there's a certain type of malware called Fin6 and more eggs. And it's really malicious. I mean, it's terrible. It's, you can't, virus software can't scan it. And it appears as though once it's in the system, it's nearly impossible to take it out, even if you reinstall the OS. So just be on the lookout for weird emails because apparently it's prevalent, especially to YouTube creators. A lot of YouTube creators are getting them. A lot of Twitter people are getting it. A lot of Facebook creators are getting it. And the reason that they're sending these out is to overtake your account. And once you're locked out of your account, that account becomes like a bad actor and does really bad things. So watch out for emails that contain executables that are hidden in a zip file, even if it's your own bank sending it, even if it's like, you know, institutions you trust, like maybe you just upgraded some new software or something like that. Man, I was really, really taken aback by this. And anyway, I ignored it, but I've been getting them regularly for about like the last 4 or 5 days. And I started to look into it and realize it's a big problem because they don't know how to stop these. So be on the lookout for those. So if you get anything from your financial institution or from your channel account, if you're on YouTube, or if you're a creator on Twitter and you get one from what looks like Twitter itself, if you see a file attachment, just delete the shit out of that. Do not open it. It's almost, like I said, it's almost impossible to get rid of. And its sole purpose is to take over your channel and lock you out. And then it wreaks havoc. So anyway, that said, because someone actually reached out to me about this in a DM, I want to bring this up. I am not going to email you either right now or tonight, or go on the chat and say, hey, send me your email address and I'll send you this, or, you know, here's my phone number, call me here. I won't be doing that on the chat. The only phone number that you can call is the one that I'm going to flash on the screen. That's because I'm real. And that's what we're doing. But do not call any other number that you may see on the chat because there are bad actors out there. So I'm trying to kind of like circumvent that system. So, and as Emilio says, be careful because Pegasus is on the loose. Exactly. Exactly. I think that's related to this more eggs thing. So Miguel says, put your Sepultura roots, bloody roots sound on, and you'll hear the most influential music in heavy metal. Man, have I got a story for you, Miguel, about Sepultura. Did we tell that one before? I don't know. That's an interesting one. Well, someone will have to ask me about it at some point. I don't know that I'll tell that one freely, but I have a Sepultura story. But yeah, the malware thing it's crazy. Like some of the stuff I've been seeing is pretty sick. As the economy takes downturns, it makes the bad actors a bit more desperate. So they'll try newer and, greater tools. So, yeah, do not call zero. Funny thing, Konstantinos, I got to tell you this because you brought it up. So I was doing this. So I do these weird things sometimes on Google and not because I'm a jerk. Well, I guess it's because I'm a jerk. It's because I'm a jerk. Okay. Sometimes I like to do random search for random things on Google, and I mean totally random. So I will like literally type, like whatever comes into my head, like a bunch of numbers and letters just to see what Google will come up with. One idea that I had with this in mind was that if I could find a phrase or two that had 0 searches, that would be great to put on a web page. Sounds cool, but actually, hold on. Side note, Liam, 2-factor authorization. No, it doesn't work. Somehow this circumvents two-factor authorization once it's gained control of your system. It's crazy, man. I will have to post a video on Twitter and on Facebook that I watched. It was crazy how it circumvents 2-factor authorization. This shit is crazy. So yeah, it's not exactly the only way at this point. Because of course I use 2-factor all the time, but in this case, this thing was able to bypass it. How? I don't know. So just throwing it out there. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to tell you other than I will unmute this. So now someone can call. So now I'm going to put up the real number. And you can call me and ask me a question, talk to me about the current topic, bring up something else, whatever you like. Just give me a call at that number that you see on the screen, but I'll read it out. 657-206-8160. And that number is only good for, oh, there it is. Let's see.
Call from
Ask me a
Vic
question.
20.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
We don't know about this one, but let's see. Hi.
Claude.
Yes.
Hey, it's Greg, Vic 20.
Hey, how are you? So
Good,
funny. This is the world we're living in. So I just want you to know so that you're aware. When I received the phone call, it literally said suspected spam caller on the line. And I know you're not.
Yes,
so how are you, man?
I'm a spam processed meat salesman. Maybe that's what it meant.
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, all right. So you're on the air.
Yeah. So we were going to talk, we're going to nerd out and talk about some New Order demos.
That's right. So you got that today?
I just listened to it on Apple Music. It just came out today. I don't have the money right now to buy the box set, but I'll be purchasing it in the future.
That's awesome.
It's like $150.
Ooh, yeah, that's a lot, but it's funny. Well, it depends. Do you know if it's on Spotify yet?
It should be. It should be on all the streaming platforms, more
I'll
than
check
likely.
that out because I'm very curious about. So, what did you think about the demos when you heard the demos?
Very interesting. I mean, obviously they're rough because they're demos, and there's I don't remember the Power Corruption and Lies edition they brought out last year. I think some of the demos had some rough vocals on them, and this version of they brought out with Low Life, it has no vocal demo stuff. It's all just instrumental demos. Kind of interesting.
Wow, like if you had to quantify them, would you say that they're really rough? Like this is an idea for a song, but we don't know where it's going, or pretty darn close.
Some of them are close. I mean, all the elements are there, but maybe the execution's a little different. Um,
Interesting.
I mean, it definitely lets you appreciate the final version that we're used to hearing. When you hear some of the demos, you can hear what they were trying to do, but it's all the production and mixing and studio magicry is not present in some of these demos, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, because by Low Life, weren't they using wasn't that Rob am I gonna say this right? Rob Baker? Is that right? Wasn't that the
Oh,
producer?
Arthur Baker.
Arthur Baker. Sorry, I'm thinking of two different
Yeah, the guy
producers.
from New York.
So Arthur
I knew who you
Baker.
meant
So
too.
yeah, so he brought like the whole like New York thing to it. Um so
Yeah, that was really prevalent on I guess right after Movement and between Movement and Power Corruption Lies when they were doing Confusion.
oh, that's what
And
I'm thinking
I
of.
think
Yeah, no, Low Life is shoot. Yeah, no,
Low
Low
Life
Life
is
is
like
the
it's half guitar stuff. It's guitars with a lot of synthesizer stuff, and then there's a few tracks that are real synth heavy, like
Yep,
Subculture and
got it. Yep.
but man, just listening to that album just brought back a lot of memories of that's right when I got into them in '86 and
So
saw them
crazy,
play at
man.
the Bronco Bowl in Dallas. Did you ever play at the Bronco Bowl?
No. But you saw them in 86?
Yes, and actually, a really cool story. My friend Eric, who got me into them, we were sitting front row side of the stage, and Peter Hook walked out,
Ha.
and we were smoking. This back when you could smoke in venues, smoking clove cigarettes, I think, or something like that. And he came up and asked us for a light, and I was telling my friend, I was like, "Dude, that's Peter Hook," and he's like, "No, it's not." Like, dude, it's Peter Hook. I know it's freaking Peter Hook.
That's awesome.
But
Wow. I saw them
yeah,
in New
really
York
cool.
City I think the same year, man. That must
Really,
have been I wonder if that was the same tour. Cuz
I guess so. That would have been the what is that Brotherhood had just come out?
I think so cuz I saw them in New York. And I think it was 86. I want to say it was 1986 when I saw them. That's awesome, man. That is really
Yes,
cool. Yeah, I
and
want to see him,
obviously,
but
yeah, they're actually coming to Dallas, and also they're playing South by Southwest. So they did like a little. They're doing like a little mini tour through Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and New Orleans.
that's so awesome.
Um, and it's kind of funny reading people on the pages commenting about like, why are you going to Texas? Why not come to Philadelphia or New York? And I'm thinking like, dude, they were just in those places
I
in
know they
October with
were.
Pet Shop Boys.
That's right. In September, right?
And me and my wife, yeah, we actually went to Philadelphia to go see him, and that was an amazing
That's so rad.
show.
Yeah,
But I feel like the stuff. I remember. I think I told you the story when we were hanging out back in July here in Texas. My friend Johnny was like, "Hey, dude, have you heard this New Order single?" And I was like, "No, there's a new one out." He used to work at Bill's Records in Dallas. I don't know if you've heard of Bill's.
oh yeah, I've definitely heard of Bill's.
He's like,
Bill's
"Yeah, I got
Records
this."
in Dallas is legendary.
Yes, and it actually still lives on, even though he died a couple of years ago
Mm-hmm.
and closed doors. There's a record store in Dallas called Josie Records, and they actually have a Bill section in
That's
their
so rad.
store. It's like a huge, huge store. So they
Did
have like the Bill sign in there, and they bought all of Bill's inventory from his family, And
That's so
basically,
right.
it's like a love letter to Bill and just what he meant to the music world in Dallas.
He was cool,
Um,
man. He was really good. Did you
yeah,
ever
he was
meet him?
very cool. I did. Yeah, I actually got to befriend him before he died, and just got to like share some stories with him about how his store, because I used to go there from Fort Worth to Dallas, like a 30-40 minute drive, and I would go there to go look for new Order, Joy Division, or like Echo and the Bunnymen, Depeche Mode, whatever, new stuff.
He was funny,
And
man.
he always had it, always had the imports.
He was one of the first record stores to carry Hope when we were independent. So
Oh wow,
he has a warm place in my heart, and that's where I bought my very first. I actually bought a T for Two tape there. I went there to get it when we were in
oh
Dallas, which
wow.
is really funny. And he was a trip, man. Like you would go up to the counter, and if he was at the counter, he'd look you up and down, and depending on how you were dressed, he might either add to the price or take from it.
Yeah, it's funny because he used to overcharge me for stuff, and then as he got to know me, he would actually, give you a little better deal.
He's so fun. He was so funny that way.
And like nothing in the entire store was priced; it's all in his head.
Yeah. So like you walk up and it's like, how much for this? He look you up and it goes, $5. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay. And
$5,
he
five
goes,
dollars a bargain.
yeah. But if he didn't like the way you smirked or anything, he goes, well, it's $10 now. I liked him a lot though. He was really funny.
After spending probably hundreds of dollars at Bill's in my youth, when I befriended him years ago, before he passed away, he actually, I found a Kraftwerk promo record for Telephone Call.
Oh wow, the telephone call.
And he
Yeah.
actually let me have it. He gave it to me
Yeah,
for free. And I
that's what
was
he would
just
do,
blown away.
man. That's what he would do. That's so
So
right. Yeah.
it's funny you mentioned that because when we were hanging out, you told me that story about the Camelot Music
Yep.
trying to order. I think they wanted like 5,000 CDs or something like that from me.
Yeah, the one that we couldn't fulfill. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever told that story on the air?
No, not really. I mean, no.
I thought it
Like,
was really cool because
don't do this
just
at
being
home,
like a
kids. The fear
fun
factor.
story. I think I told you. I actually met my wife at Camelot Music at a mall.
That's so rad, man. That's so rad. Well, what I have of Camelot Music, which I have to post one of these days, is I have the whole Hope thing that they put together in the window. And that was really cool. Like they took the posters and the CDs and they made a whole display. And it was a lot of fun. I so regret that day. The day of which you
Yeah.
speak. So this is what he's talking about. So Hope was out and we were independent and we were literally printing them 1,000 at a time. And here we are, like after having left Epic Records, and we have this record out, and we don't really know what we're doing. We're just trying to stay afloat. So we've recorded Hope, we've put it out. The head of Camelot calls and says we need 5,000 units, but like, can you get them to us in a few days? And we were like we were shocked because yeah, that was a great order, but we didn't know how to fulfill it. Like we didn't have either the I don't even remember if we had the cash to do it, but it was one of those like, oh my God, we just got a 5,000 CD order and we don't know what to do. And so we called them up and said, we can send you 500. And, cringing the entire time on the telephone. They're like, what? And they're like, okay, we'll do that. But I think we need more. So I think we wound up sending them 2,000. Now that I'm trying to remember, because I remember going to the trucking company and just signing off on them. And that was weird too. Like dropping off CDs at a trucking company. Like we'd never done any of that stuff. So there I am, like loading boxes of CDs onto a pallet that was going to go to a record store. And I found that to be really odd. I'm like, what have I done? What have I done? But I've always regretted it because that would have been so this is what you learn from kids. When you get a massive order for like 5,000 CDs or whatever it is, beg, borrow, and steal and make it happen. Because I could have sold them. I
Yes.
could have
But didn't
definitely
you?
sold them.
Yeah, because I
Um,
asked you if you got any returns, and you said you never got any returns back from them, so they sold them
no,
all.
no, no. I think they hounded us, and I think we may have sold half that number in just trickling them in. But I think had we been more, because I think overall we managed to sell quite a few of Hope, but it's just that initial pressing that was so unique. We could have done like a 5,000 run of those of the cardboard ones, and it would have been amazing. But we were we were afraid of that financial burden of it. But oh well, I won't do that again.
Yeah, I think. And back then, making CDs it was more expensive, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was. It was easily a $3 to $4 process. So it was going to be about a 20 something $1,000 bill at the end of the day. So it was
Yeah.
like, we had just made some money and we were like, oh my God, do we do it? Do we do it? Like that fear of like spending 20 grand. Now I think
Yeah.
I would just do it and then be like, whatever, whatever happens, I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
But back then it was like, it was a scary move because you're independent. You don't know what you're doing, you know? So
I feel so privileged because I actually bought a copy of Hope from Camelot. So I bought one of those
yeah.
2000 that came through the pipeline there.
Wow.
Doing our part out here.
Oh my God, someone just wrote that they got Hope from Sam Goody at the mall. That's so rad. That's so,
That's
so
awesome.
rad. Oh, wow. Liam on the chat posted a video of Bill Weisner. That's cool. I'm going to have to check that out because, yeah, Bill was cool, man.
Yeah, somebody was doing a documentary. I think it might be on what's the Vivo or what's that site
I
called?
guess that's the one. Yeah, I'm going to check that out for sure. Bill was
Yeah, it's really
cool
good.
and he will be missed.
It
So,
was cool.
Greg, what do you want to hear?
Well, first, before we play a song, I just wanted to comment to all your beautiful listeners out there. Have we played Temptation, our cover, on live air before?
I think we did, but here's the problem. I don't think I have the final version that was ever released. I only have whatever we were working on last, which was like I think it's really rough what I have. I don't have the final. Um
Well, I will remedy that. I'll send you a copy tonight. But
actually tell
the
you
reason
what,
why
if you email it to me now, I will hold on. Let me see if I can pop off on it and grab it cuz this the computer I'm on may not let me into that account. It's just funny that way. Oh, what did I just do? Something dumb. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get to that email.
yeah, don't click on the wrong file.
I know. Well, it's not that. I just don't want someone else accidentally see my other email address. Um, I should be able to actually. Yeah, email it to me, and what I'll do is I'll before the night is through, I will play it.
All right, cool. Well, can I still request a song?
Absolutely. What do you want
All
to
right.
hear?
I actually covered this song back in my youth. We used to do this public access TV thing, show called Mind Speak. It's a bunch of nerdy teenagers doing like a talk show, and we
Awesome.
were the band. We did like all synth pop covers, and I actually covered this song by you, and I have it on video, and I'm going to get it and send it to you at some point.
That's awesome.
But I want to hear "Do You Hear Me Anymore?"
Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Do we
Beautiful,
have? Do we
beautifully haunting
have?
song.
Oh gosh, I hope I have it because it's one of the like I'm telling you, I have the. Oh, there it is. I think so.
Sweet.
Ooh, I have the studio one. It's funny. I have like one that's like really rough, and then I have they're like literally the same thing, but one is mastered a little bit nicer than the other. So this is the raw from the studio DAT that I'm gonna play. And thanks for
All
calling,
right, this
Greg.
weekend.
Have a
Yes,
great
this
weekend,
weekend
man.
I'm
We have
gonna
to
call
catch
you and
up.
touch base with you.
But yeah, email me that song and I'll play it tonight.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
A quick shout out to Scott and to Brent and
Awesome.
to all the A-Box family out there. And I'll see you guys at the New Order show in Dallas.
Awesome. Yes. Dude, hug them all for me.
I will.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
talk to you soon.
Bye. So, let's see. Uh-oh, what did I do? What did I do? Okay. I thought I broke something. Let's, do you hear me anymore? You're going to get a twofer for this because Lalo had requested this earlier, and I brought it up. So I think that I'm going to just play it because he's still on the line, and I know he's in Peru, and it's really either really early in the morning or really late. So I'm going to make sure he gets to hear this. So I'm going to play Pray for him, which is off. It's a demo actually, and it's you can get it on Bandcamp, but I'm going to play it.
To all that we know.
That was Prey. So, yeah, I got to tell you, man, like, I lost. I used to have all those samples, the life, death, and a bunch of other ones, and some snare sounds that I really loved, and practically everything from the Electrodelica era and the Universe era that I had on samples. Um, Almost 90, I would say 99% of it got lost in a flood in the studio when I lived in Fullerton. And all of that stuff was lost. It was just terrible. So I had to, it was one of those like, I have to start over. But as luck would have it, I found a hard drive that had some of my MPC sounds on it. The Prey stuff wasn't on there, but I found like a lot of my old kits. So I was so happy that I was able to rescue some of them. But man, I used to have like this really awesome collection because what I would do is I would sample directly into the MPC from like I had a record player set up in the studio, I had a tape deck, I had a CD player, and then I had a microphone. So whatever we wanted to sample, it would go straight into the MPC and be saved into a kit. So yeah, we lost that. Um, so always back up everything into multiple places if you can. Not that I do that all the time either, because we all forget, but man, it sucks when you lose stuff. Like I never expected to go down there and find water on everything and like black mold all over these hard drives and like they were just ruined, completely ruined. I was never able to you know, ever get anything, anything working. So, but let me okay. So I have unmuted the call center. So you can call if you want, and we'll take the next caller and we'll see what's on your mind. But meanwhile, yeah, it was a weird event and I lost all those samples. But what I like about that era is that we were recording everything straight to reel, and I really like the tones that we were getting because everything had to be planned. Like we didn't think of demos at that time. We were thinking of them as like they're live pieces. We're just doing them and this is it. We're not going to take them any further. It's just this is how we were. This is the minimalist side of A-Box. So yeah, I'm glad that it came out the way it came out because at least I have a good, what I consider to be a really good copy of the song. But I don't think that I would ever do it again. Like, re-record it or anything. I don't think it needs to be. I think it is what it is. So I'm on that trip. But yeah, so let's see. Oops. Oh, there it is. There's the number 657 206 8160. We're coming up at 9:41, so there's about 15 minutes or so left of this thing. But you can feel free, let me know what's on your mind. You can ask me questions. You can make a comment live for the whole world to hear. Just be nice. But although everyone has been extremely nice. But feel free. If not, I've got more stuff to play that people were asking for, including something I thought about ending this thing with, which I think it's hilarious that I've never played this particular song on the stream. So I have a song that I'm going to play at the end of the stream because I think it's funny. But yeah, but feel free. Phone line's open. But so as far as next week goes, rehearsals are going to start soon for me. So I'm going to be rehearsing for the upcoming shows. I've got Mexico City. Oops. Let's see who we got.
Call from.
It's Steve.
To accept, press 1. To send.
Yo, Steve. You are on the air.
Yo, what's up? I never get to talk to you anymore.
I know. Ever since you moved to Florida, we don't talk much.
No, it's all good. I wanted to call since nobody was calling at the time, but no, I'll give you a buzz.
Well, now, what's funny is that they come in, but it takes time. So sometimes what happens is I
don't want to steal from everybody else. Who gets,
you hear them.
You a little more often
you
than
hear them now.
Else,
they're coming in.
Oh, see, there you go.
So
I should hang up real quick.
No, stay on the line. Why not?
No, you got to. You know what you got to do, Claude? You got to go look for that thing that we were talking about. That you got to go try to find. So.
Oh, that's right. You are reminding me of something. I was supposed to bring it up. You're right. So I forgot about that.
Track that down at least.
Oh, okay. So.
Coolio.
So in February, I'm going to be playing El Centro, and there is a possibility that I'm also going to be playing Mexicali. And as it turns out, we have an Anything Box internet mystery on our hands. So this is what we've got going on. Stephanie tried to call 30 times.
Oh, I better hang up and let Stephanie call then.
No, we'll try getting Stephanie to call.
Yeah.
But
I can talk to you any day, so it's all good.
But this is an important thing, so we have to bring it up. So because this is an internet A-box. Well, we have 2 internet A-box mysteries. I'm gonna bring them up. So
the APB, yes.
Yeah,
the A-box
APB. APBs, yeah. So the one that we're talking about, a show where let's put it this way: the promoter for the show that in El Centro said, you would make my night if you play Age of Consent again, a cover that you did of Age of Consent when you started the show the last time you were here in Mexicali. And I'm like, that's impossible, because I remember every show we've played, and there's no way we did a cover of Age of Consent. I would know, because I would have to have made some sort of backing tracks for this, and I know I don't have any. But I asked him, like, was that when we went out as a 5-piece? To which, of course, he said yes. So, for those who don't know, there was a time period, a very short time period, where Anything Box actually was a 5-piece. And we had a drummer, bass player, Paul was on guitar, and my brother was in the band. So we did go to Mexicali as a 5-piece, and we did play. So it is possible that if we did open the show with a cover of Age of Consent, that the entire thing was basically not planned, and we did it like backstage, planned it, played it completely live, like off the cuff. So it's possible that this did happen. I don't remember that happening, but apparently this person remembers it. This is the Mandela effect of Anything Box. Watch. But here's the funny thing. We did play a wonderful, wonderful set at this venue called Kalia. So this is very important. So I'm going to give you the facts. Did we figure out the date, Steve?
Yeah.
Did we say it was 2001, right? 2001?
Five, I believe.
Really? That late?
No. Oh, you mean the
Kalia show?
4 or 5.
All right.
I'm thinking.
So we think that it was 2000. I'm thinking it's even earlier. But let's just say.
Oh wait! It was earlier. The Kalia shows are earlier.
2000.
Hold on, I have the.
Yeah, because you had a picture.
It was July 2000. July in 03.
So July of 2003 is what we think was the date that we played Kalia in Mexicali as a 5-piece. And it was an awesome set. We very purposefully did Electrodelica songs, and we purposefully did songs from Stereo TV. So So it's going to sound very rockish, but we did play other things because I remember, I will tell you this. I do remember this particular bit from that show because this was a big deal about Sandra being in the band, being our drummer. Um, we did automatons, and her solo at the end of that song is almost like drum and bass. It was really cool. And she did it in rehearsal, and I was like, whatever it is you're doing, that's what you got to do when we play the song live. Just go crazy, do that. It was awesome. So we have to find this. We have to find this footage, and we can't find it anywhere. It's like it doesn't exist. Now, I have pictures of the band doing interviews with all five of us. I have pictures of, for example, our rehearsals when we were rehearsing these things, but we do not have the, well, it's funny. So Brian McDonald says, current lineup consisting of solely Claude S. I hate when people use my last name. Claude S. Past lineups have included longtime members Daniel Morales, Paul Reinders, Carlos Pacheco, Mike Zazek, Gary Strilio, Dave South, and Barry Bunch. And you're missing Sandra Vu, which if you look at a band called Zuzu, she's in that band. And she was our drummer for a little bit. And that was the first time that we actually thought we might do a diary thing for a while, like that we might actually go and play a gig or two as the diary, because I had a real drummer and I had a real bass player / guitar player. To answer Eric's question, I have not kept too much touch with Sandra because she lives in New York now, I think. Dave as well, but I did see Dave just before the pandemic, but I missed Dave. I haven't seen him in a long time. So if you're listening, Dave, I miss you, bro. You got to call. But yeah, if anyone has footage of anything box in Kalia, please reach out to me and let me know, because that is a missing piece of very important history, I think, because it shows a completely different side of the band. And if I don't say so myself, I think that was a really good show, man. So anywho,
cool.
So, yeah, thank you for
I'll let
reminding
somebody else
me.
call in, Mr. Claude. I will let somebody else call in.
Aw, that's nice of you,
running
Steve.
low on time. Of course, I could say play a song like 45 to make it quick, but that's all good.
You're funny. I love you, Steve.
Cool. Yeah, I'll talk to you down the way.
This has listen show vibes right now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully something down the road may become of that. So we'll see.
We'll have to try one day.
Yeah,
of course, non-YouTube, so that we don't get kicked off. But I think it'll be funny.
Yeah. All right. Let's get Stephanie on the phone if we can get her.
All right, let's try it.
Yeah, all good. Later, Claude.
Thank you, Steve. All right, let's see what we got. So let's see if we get someone on the line. But so yeah, so that's awesome. So if anyone has anything on the Kalia show, please send it my way. And I did say there was 2 shows. So the other show of our history that's really cool, that's missing, that I'm sure there has to be footage of it, is when we played Rock in Rio in Brazil, because that was a really good gig. It was 72,000 people. Somebody has to have footage of that show on some camera somewhere. So if anyone ever finds that footage, or if anyone knows about that footage, send it my way, because that would be so awesome to have. I think a lot of people would want to see it. And me, myself, just being the band person, wants to see it. Like, I just want to enjoy it. But I'm telling you, those were the days. Those were the days. So, yeah. So anyone game to call? Because if not, I am ready to play a song. So I've got 2 lined up, but no calls at the moment. So we shall see if we get our caller back. Yeah. All is quiet. This is funny. So I think that people must have been like this when that. Remember when people used to take calls on the air, and then there was what was it called? Dead air. So that's kind of funny. But I know no one wants to call because they're scared to talk to me. Like, what is he gonna do? Because I'm gonna be mean. I'm kidding. I won't be mean. But of course, it all depends. Should I? Should I be? Oh, oh, oh. Let's see who we got on the line.
Call from
JP.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
So we got JP on the line. Hello.
Hello, Claude.
How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. We finally get to talk, I guess, a little bit.
That's right. So what do you got for me? You're on the air. The whole world is listening.
Yes. I just wanted to say thank you for your music. And thank you for the corn streams back in 2020 when you started those. I want to say those things were a godsend. They were a lifesaver during that time because we were all home and it was very hard to work, all week from home.
All of us locked up, right?
Exactly. But I always looked forward to Friday. Friday night was a treat to listen to your streams. I remember the first one you did. It was in your apartment or house. I think you were sitting on the floor.
I was trying to fix my tape deck.
Yes,
that's right.
Exactly. That was your first stream, and then now look at your studio. So you've come a long way. I know you probably think this, your streams are, not great, but I think they help a lot of people. And for me, it actually reconnected me to A-Box.
Thank you.
I've been a fan for a long time. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about your background, your music, and it definitely reconnected me to A-Box. And you know what it's like to raise kids. So I think that's where I lost my connection, raising kids. And so, but those corn streams, man.
Well, thank you for that.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. I was telling. So, well, first of all, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for being here this long with me with all these streams. Because I'll tell you right now, the intention was just like everybody else, we're in lockup. It's like, it really was. It felt like we're all imprisoned in our homes. And I'm like, what do we do? And I remember that night, it was so crazy. I was like, I can't stand another minute of not going outside and not doing anything. I'm just bored to death and I don't want to watch the news. That's just driving me crazy. And I wanted to I dug out the tape deck and I was like, screw it. I'm just going to turn on the camera and just putz around and see what happens. And I think from that moment on, I kind of thought, I don't know that I would ever stop doing this now. I kind of like this. But it was weird at first. It was really scary. I'm getting more used to it now. Now I feel like I'm a little bit more relaxed, even though I still make mistakes, because I'm obviously running everything in real time. But I think it was funny in the beginning because every week, everything was just a shambles.
Well, I enjoy the streams and the videos because it's so hard to get to your concerts and everything. It's actually been 30 years since I last saw you in concert, and it was in '93, October 31st. It was the night River Phoenix died. Of course, we didn't know that at that time, but that was the last time I saw you in concert. And
where was that, by the way?
That was in Lubbock, Texas.
Oh.
And it was at the Depot District. I can't remember the exact club, but it was near the Buddy Holly area. And it was like a warehouse, and it was a Halloween night. And
that was a crazy show, man. That was a crazy show. That was nuts. So, I love that show.
Yeah, we talked and everything. I think we were probably the last ones to talk to you, and so I enjoyed the time. And I'll never forget you asked, "Hey, we're going to Denny's. Do you want to join us? We're going to go eat." And I guess you had a lot of energy left, or you were hungry, which makes sense because after this you're probably going to eat pizza. So, I get that. So, but we had to turn you down because we were just so shocked that you actually invited us, and we're like, I was a college kid, and I'm like, no, I mean, you're asking me to hang out with, I mean, you're a star, basically. That's how
Nah, we were just, we do that though. We used to, I still do that stuff, man. I still do that. And it's not because I'm really hungry. It's just that I still have a lot of energy. And so I kind of have to like use it up. So yeah, we would do that on occasion, like just randomly just invite folks to go eat, and then we just go eat. We still do that. Like, and I say it's me, but we still do that on occasion. Like, I remember. That's so funny. Lubbock. Oh my God, There was a lot of cool things about that show. That was like an underground warehouse type thing, and that was very rave era ish. It just had this rave vibe to it. I just remember that.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, we were just so happy about that. We were on cloud 9 all the way on a 2-hour drive back. And we said, we should have went, but I appreciate that. And I appreciate everything you do. I like everything you're doing, your book, your Hope 30 coming out. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Everything you do on Twitter, all the advice you give us for crypto and everything. I mean, I got into that just so I could get some of your NFTs. So I appreciate you and everything, and all your past bandmates. I appreciate their talent as well too. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, JP. So what do you want to hear?
Yes,
it's your call.
I like Vile. A lot of people don't like that, but on a bad day, that's a very good song.
I'm glad you picked that song.
Man, I dig that song, man. But I'll hear anything. Like I love "Come Away from Worth."
Yeah, no, you picked it already. I got it. Only because it's the shocker. It's the shocker song, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. Let's see if I got it though, because this is always a problem with this like stuff. I'm like, do I have that on the archive? Oh, there it is. Oh my God. People are gonna be like,
I don't know why, man, but that song picks me up every time, man.
I'm gonna premise it. So when I presented this song to the band, they looked at me like I was insane. Like they literally they were like, no, you can't be serious. I'm like, yeah, but it's cool. Look, listen to the beat. But what was cool though is that we had a friend of ours who was doing scratching and stuff like that. So we had a lot of weird things on gosh, like my memory just went. The effects of stereo TV. Like we had a lot of cool cameos from different people that showed up and did cool stuff on it. So this is one of those chances like to just go completely off the walls, right? And I was kind of getting tired of the press always saying stuff like happy music with happy lyrics. And it was like, you're not really listening to the music because the music's happy, but the lyrics are sometimes really sad and angry sometimes. So I was like, so screw it. I'm going to do an angry song that sounds really super happy, but the lyrics are going to be completely vile. And the band hated it. But then when we finished recording it, then they were like, yeah, we have to have that on the album. I'm like, you're kidding me. I thought you didn't like it. But it wound up being one of our favorite ones. So yeah, everyone's going to just like go like, damn, don't take calls from JP anymore after this song. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm with you on this one. I am with you on this one.
I'm a good guy. I like that song when it's a bad day. It gets